Hello and welcome back to the course on Tableau. In the previous tutorial, we finished off with this beautiful distribution of our customers by age. And today we're going to create an identical distribution, but it will be of our customers by balance. So if you would like to perform an additional exercise and test your skills, then you can pause this tutorial right now and create a distribution for the customers by balance, and then play the tutorial and compare and see how I did it and how you did it, and see what the differences were and if you got the same result. So now we're going to proceed to creating this distribution. And the process is exactly the same as we did with this distribution by age. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to create a new tab. I'm going to call it distribution by balance. By balance. Okay. And now, as last time, first we're going to create a bin, balance, create bins. We'll make them 10,000 units of currency bins. And now we will take the balance bin variable, drag it into columns. We will take number of records, drag it into rows. There's our distribution. Now we will take some number of records, hold control and drag it into color. There it is. So maybe we can make it a bit smaller. That's good. Now we will get rid of this header. We will change, first of all, of course, quick table calculation. We'll change this to % of total. And here we will also change it to %, or basically we'll just take this one and we'll drag it into color. Doesn't really change the color, but just for consistency. One null here, what that means is that there is no values in the 150, so I'm just going to rotate these labels. In the 150,000 there's no values, and you can filter dot and exclude that null, but I prefer to keep it. So I'm just going to press Ctrl Z, and to remove this indicator from your chart, just right click it and click hide indicator. Okay, so that's our chart, and now we're going to quickly format it. So I'll change the axis here, total % of customers. And now we will format here the whole chart bold. Okay, so that's our chart. Maybe make some more space so that the columns or the names of the columns fit in. And now what we want to do is we want to learn how to work with parameters. So at this stage, we haven't touched on parameters yet, but it is time for us to learn how to leverage the true power of this tool in Tableau and use it to our advantage in this dashboard. So how can we use parameters here, and what are they? Well, imagine that you want to dynamically adjust this visualization. Let's say, for instance, you want to be able to change the size of the bins. Like right now, you're not happy with 10,000 units of currency per bin, and you want to change it. Well, you need to go to balance bin, right click it, click edit, and you have to change this to 5,000 if you want 5,000, or 20,000, or whatever you want. And every time doing that can be a bit tedious, and especially in data exploration and data discovery, you need to be agile. You need to be able to quickly adjust these things, because that can help you find anomalies. So for instance, here it's a gradual drop off, but when you change it to $5,000 bins, you can see this spike, and it's quite anomalous, and you might want to understand what exactly is going on there. So whereas you wouldn't have seen it from this chart. And how quickly you can adjust the size of the bins determines how much insights you can produce. So we will create a parameter which will allow us to adjust the size of these bins very quickly. I'm going to right click in measures, and here I will say create a parameter. The parameter, we will call it, let's call it balance groups, because we're working with balance. It'll be an integer parameter, and we will start off with 10,000, and we'll be working with a range. So the minimum value of the parameter, let's say there's not much point going below $5,000 buckets or $5,000 bins. The maximum, well, 25,000 sounds like a lot already, and the step size can be 5,000 as well. So we've created a parameter. Now we right click the parameter and we click show parameter control, and it appears over here. So now you can just change the parameter, and well, right now nothing's happening, of course, with the chart, and that's because we haven't linked the parameter to our balance bins. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to click edit, and here size of bins, it conveniently prompts you to select a parameter when you click the drop down, and we already have a parameter as balance group, so let's select that. Click OK, and now if we change the parameter around, you can see that the size of the bins is changing, and therefore the number of the columns is changing. So you can see here that now I can very quickly dynamically adjust this chart and get to the insights that I want. And that is a lot of power. That's not the only usage of parameters. And now that you know that you have this option to create parameters which you can quickly adjust and use to have more control over your worksheets, you will naturally come up with other ways to use them as you create more visualizations. But this is one of the good use cases. So let's now go to distribution by age and do the same thing. We'll create a parameter here, and we will call it age groups. This parameter is also going to be an integer, so a whole number. This time we want a list of values rather than a range. We want a list. Let's say we want only 3 types of values: 1, 5, and 10. Click OK, and now we have a parameter age groups. We will show parameter control here. Also, we want it to be a slider, and of course we want to connect it to our chart. So let's go right click, edit age bin, and instead of this fixed value or for the size of bins, we're going to create select age groups. Once we've selected that, well, here you can see it's a bit, it's extended our chart quite a lot, but that doesn't really matter because in the dashboard that won't be the case. But we can always, if we want to reduce the size of this worksheet even here if we wanted to. But let's have a look at what happens when we change the size of the bin. So if we click to the right, now the size of the bin is 5 years, now the size of the bin is 10 years. And you can see that the chart is adjusting as we do that. So that is the power of parameters. Have a play around with that and think of other cases where you might be able to use parameters in your work with Tableau. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, happy analyzing.